Hello bellezas, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here then just welcome. Hi, my name is Brenda. I do paranormal videos here on my channel, so if that is something that you are interested in, please consider subscribing down below and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss when I post another video like this one. Now with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Alright you guys, so I wanted to sit down with you guys and record something for this upcoming week, and I was kind of just sitting there getting ready to film, and I was like, what am I going to film today? And this is how unprepared I am for these videos. I feel like I procrastinate a lot in doing my research and all of that, so I end up having to just read off of something, which is usually fine for me. It's not too much of a big deal, and you guys don't seem to mind either, because half the time I'm reading my stories off of my phone as well. But today I did want to do something a little bit different. I didn't want to do another subscriber scary stories or another scary dream or another scary story to tell in the dark. I wanted to go back to the original kinds of videos that I started doing here on my channel, which was haunted locations in Mexico and haunted stories about Mexico and folklore from Mexico and all of that good stuff. So I hope that you guys are ready to hear some spooky stories today about some haunted locations in Mexico. So I have 3 of them, and I'm going to be reading off of a few articles on here, and trying to just give it a little bit of my own pizzazz. And as usual, I have my reading glasses on, because not even reading glasses, I literally am blind, so I have to wear these glasses so I could see what I'm reading. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do this video, okay? And it's glary and I can't do nothing about it. Okay guys, but yeah, today I bring you guys 3 haunted locations in Mexico and the story behind why they are supposedly haunted, or something weird is going on, you know, something along those lines. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right into the first one that we're going to be talking about here today, which is La Casa de Lamentos, or the House of Laments de Guanajuato. And also, before I start reading, I do want to apologize if you hear my brother screaming in the background. He's playing video games, and this microphone picks up everything, baby, because I try to aim it just towards me, so the settings are set for just one person talking into it like this, but it still picks up my brother because he's a loud one, okay? And he is irritating the crap out of me today, just saying. Okay, all right, enough chitter chatter from me. Let's get to it. It says, La Casa de Lamentos is a historical building in Guanajuato, Mexico. It was built in the 18th century by a man named Marqués de San Clemente, who was a prominent miner. The building was used as a post office until the year 1890, when Tadeo Fulgencio Mejia and his wife Maria Constanza de la Ribera moved in. Tadeo was a mining engineer and, according to legend, loved his wife Maria Constanza very much. They were a happy couple until one day Maria was assaulted in an alley and then murdered. Tadeo was desperately lost without his wife, and one day he consulted a bruja, or a witch, and after this went down a horrible, dark path. The bruja told him he could bring his wife back from the dead through human sacrifices. It did not matter to Mejia who his victims were. There was no specific type. He went after men and women, and the exact number of victims is unknown. When police caught wind of what Mejia was doing, Mejia shot himself in the head, thus never facing trials for his crime. Multiple body parts, bodies, and ashes were found in the basement of the house, as well as books on black magic and the occult. So basically, after he got what he needed for his rituals, he got rid of the bodies by burning them. So that's why there was ashes in his house. And that's most likely why they were unable to find out how many bodies exactly or how many people he ended up killing, because if he was burning them, odds are that a lot of the bones were just scattered together, and it's really hard to separate the DNA in the bones from a bunch of different ones being burned together. So that's probably where they found difficulty doing that, especially so long ago. 1800s, not gonna happen. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? There's probably not even DNA available for them to test. Anyway, now it is said you can hear agonizing screams of the victims in the house. A pair of high heels can be heard walking through the house, and cold spots can be felt. The show Extra Normal did an episode on the house turned museum in 2011. Some even say the ghost of Tadeo himself haunts the place, as he did not pay for his crimes during life. The museum opened in 2010 to the public and can be toured at only 45 pesos per person. And they do a haunted house attraction sort of thing with costumes and sound effects. I always feel like when they do that, when they turn like a historical building into like a tourist spot, or like a, oh, look at this, it's a haunted house and we're gonna put spooky dolls in it, I feel like you're kind of like disrespecting the spirits and kind of like making fun of it. But I don't know, make your coin, girl. I don't know, I can't say nothing, because apparently people still go to see it, because I mean, you still get to see it, and you still get to see if you get haunted by anything. So I mean, I guess. But yeah, guys, that is the first one. I thought that one was really eerie, because whenever there's like tragic events like that, you gotta believe that something is going on in this place. Like, it's being haunted by the people who he killed there. It's being haunted by him because he did the killing there, and he also shot himself in the same house. So like, odds are, you know, it's very possible that it's haunted. But yeah, very creepy looking house, very tragic event. Don't trust brujas that are doing black magic, okay? Because nothing happened. He didn't get his wife back. He just murdered a bunch of people, and then the cops found out about it, and then he was like, can't go to jail. You know, like, what was the point of that? You just killed a bunch of people for what? I don't know. But yeah, guys, that is the first haunted location in Mexico. Let me know what you guys think about that one, and what are the odds of it being haunted. Like, do you believe it's haunted? Maybe not. Do you have to go there, check it out yourself? Would you? I wouldn't. No. You can't find me in no haunted house. Not even the attraction ones for Halloween. I do not go to those. I'm easily scared. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to our second location. And this one, the location name is gonna F me up this entire time. I had a hard time pronouncing it while I was reading over this, like, out loud. And I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the death of me. I cannot say this town a million times. But this one is the ghost town of Misnebalam. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Okay, don't come for me on that. Alright, it says, just outside the popular Mexican town of Merida lies the ruins of a community whose mysterious disappearance gave birth to a multitude of ghost stories. Misnebalam was once a thriving hacienda farm ran on the land of a wealthy man named Don Fidencio G. Marquez. This farm gave life to its community, allowing Misnebalam to prosper and grow to house almost 200 inhabitants. The rumors as to what caused Misnebalam to go from thriving town to ghost town are quite sinister. It's hard not to think of death as you approach Misnebalam. Driving down a winding, overgrown dirt road with vultures circling the hot sky above is less than a welcoming entry. The town itself still has many structures standing, including houses, a church, and even a dried out swimming pool. Everything is crumbling, beaten down by the harsh climate and years of neglect, especially from vandals. Now home to an abundance of lizards, no other life remains at Misnebalam, but there may be souls of the former living trapped here. While abandonment of buildings in Mexico is common, a whole town left in ruins under particular circumstances Misnebalam was left is not. Urban legends exist which explain ghosts as the main driving factor that caused Balam's residents to flee, leaving their homes and livelihoods behind. Many still believe that the ghost town of Misnelabam is haunted, but by what or who? The most prevailing ghost story linked to Misnelabam is a tragic one. Juliancito, a young 9-year-old boy, son to one of the farm workers, lived in a small rural community sometime in the 1920s. One day, Juliancito was playing with a ball of yarn around the town before being abducted and raped by one of the other workers in the community. Unable to process this traumatic event in his young mind, he became distraught. Sadly, Juliancito then took his own life by hanging himself from a tree somewhere in town. His young, lost spirit is rumored to still remain within the town he once lived. His ghost is indeed one of the most active in Misnelabam, being reportedly sighted by many and even caught on camera. If I find that video, I'll insert it now.
Las únicas personas que visitan Misnebalam son estos practicantes de un deporte llamado Airsoft. Jorge Casanova, presidente de la asociación de esta práctica en Yucatán, asegura tener en su poder un video grabado en este sitio, en donde puede verse una extraña entidad mientras practicaban este deporte. Pero aseguran que hay sitios en esta zona donde prefieren no meterse.
Empezaron a reportar que veían cosas, que sentían cosas, estábamos jugando, movimientos de objetos, o sea, inclusive llegaron a ver cosas, ¿no? ¿Cómo te explico? Formas, podríamos decirles, humanas, pero no tangibles. Nosotros frecuentemente en las partidas que armamos, grabamos los juegos, ¿no? Los subimos a nuestra página de internet y todo. Entonces, al estar editando uno de esos videos, pues salió algo extraño, ¿no? O sea, que algo que no estaba ahí cuando nosotros grabamos.
El video es impresionante. Pareciera tratarse de una persona transparente que se desplaza a una velocidad increíble. Observe.
Algo se atraviesa. Precisamente es algo que cruza frente a la cámara y frente a las personas que se les estaba grabando. Y tiene forma pues, precisamente de una persona, pero está transparente.
Es una silueta que pasa aparentemente corriendo o a mucha velocidad. De hecho se tiene que ver a cámara lenta para apreciarla mejor. Pero sí es una silueta humana.
Que precisamente la gente abandonó este lugar por cuestiones precisamente cosas paranormales, ¿no? Incluso hay una leyenda de un niño que se suicidó, lo mataron, no sabemos realmente qué pasó, ¿no?
If not, then I just look dumb and I'm gonna keep reading. Another ghost said to frequent Misnelabam is that of the former landowner, Don Marquez. It is told that Don has haunted the town ever since his untimely death in 1921. In October of this year, Don drove from his home down a road towards Misnelabam with his son and one of his staff. During this trip, his car was intercepted by unknown men who assassinated Don in front of his passengers. Since this day, Don's ghost has been sighted throughout the town he once held dominion over. The spirit of a priest also remains within the ghost town of Misnelabam. He is usually sighted within the crumbling, roofless church. Adorned in a long flowing black robe, his spirit most commonly is seen ascending to the top of what is left of the church. There, he opens and extends his arms as if to reach out and welcome visitors. More ghostly phenomenon has been documented within Misnelabam, which includes disembodied voices, other unexplainable noises, and the appearance of light anomalies and orbs. Many also tell of lights continuing to turn on within abandoned houses at night, despite there being a lack of electricity, light bulbs, and wiring remaining. The haunted Misnelabam ghost town is an unofficial attraction to locals and tourists passing through the nearby town of Merida. Many brave souls have journeyed to this destination, including urban explorers, paranormal investigators, and those just curious about the town's strange history. Misnelabam can be found just outside of Merida in the Mexican state of Yucatan. It is about a 20-minute drive from there, straight down the Merida Progreso Highway. And yeah, guys, that is basically the story behind why this ghost town is a ghost town and the ghosties that are haunting it. In very tragic ways for the owner to go, and then as well as Juliancito. Like, that's probably like one of the most effed up things that could happen. And then being 9 years old and then having to live with that trauma and then ultimately being like, I can't do it. That is so freaking sad. And it's sad that he hasn't moved on, obviously, if he's haunting this location. That's super sad. And also the guy, what was the reason? Like, I wonder what was going on in this farm, that there was just like bad people in the area. Like, I wonder if they ever found out who that worker was, and or that like raped Juliancito and, you know, did all of that to him, or if they even tried to find it out or anything like that. But who knows? Either way, it's a sad story, and I would definitely understand why a place like this is haunted. And it looks so eerie. And then the whole thing about the lights still turning on inside of the houses, that's like so eerie to me. If I ever saw that happen and there was no electricity running in that area because it's in the middle of freaking nowhere and there was no wiring left or any light bulbs left, I think I would crap myself. Because imagine that you're walking there at night, like investigating or something, and you see the freaking lights turn on. I would have run back the other way. Actually, you wouldn't even catch me there in the first place. So I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought about that one. And then at the end of it also, let me know which one was your favorite, like which one was the creepiest one. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into the third location with another title that I can't really pronounce. And I feel like I'm gonna do a what do you call it? What's the word? Injustice? I'm gonna do it in, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know English. But this one is about the Teotihuacan pyramids, the gateway to the underworld. And this one's not particularly a haunted location because it is saying that it's a possible gateway to the underworld. But I mean, I guess there is ghost spirits, demons in the underworld, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I guess you could consider it haunted still. I don't know, I thought it was interesting either way, so I think you guys will like this one. And again, pardon me if I can't pronounce Teotihuacan or Teotihuacan. I don't know. Alright, so it says, just outside of modern-day Mexico City lies a literal ghost town containing a number of impressively large ancient pyramids. This abandoned Mesoamerican city is known as Teotihuacan and dates back to 400 BC. Over time, this city grew in size and power until it reached its peak population of around 200,000 people. Like many other ancient cities in history, this one was also to fall, becoming officially abandoned around 700 AD. The city was to lie empty for many more years until being rediscovered by the Aztecs in the 1440s. The Aztecs were the ones who gave the ghostly city its name, Teotihuacan, meaning the place where the gods were created. Because of this abandonment and its undocumented beginnings, very little is known and understood about the origins of Teotihuacan and who built it. Some clues to the past have been uncovered by scientists, yet many questions remain unanswered about the mystifying site. I had to pause for a second. My mom got home and barged all up in here and like ruined my rhythm. Teotihuacan is laid out on a grid over some 8 square miles. Cutting directly through the ancient city is a large pathway, dubbed the Avenue of the Dead. Placed strategically along this avenue are many structures of significance, including the Pyramid of the Sun, Pyramid of the Moon, and the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. Although little is known and understood about Teotihuacan's past, evidence has been uncovered that suggests human sacrifices were performed in the city. In the late 80s, an elongated pit was found near the Temple of the Feathered Serpent that contained the bodies of 18 human sacrifice victims. Interestingly, Shortly after the discovery was made, another uncovered an even larger nearby pit containing a further 200 bodies. These individuals were also thought to be sacrificed and likely of significant standings within the city related to their military. Most recently, in 2004, more sacrifices were uncovered, this time inside a chamber in the Pyramid of the Moon. This burial chamber was filled with 12 sacrifice victims, all of whom had their hands bound behind their backs. 10 of these bodies had been decapitated, with the 2 who weren't laid out in ornate offerings. On top of these human sacrifices, many animal bodies were also discovered in this tomb. These ranged from large cats like jaguars and pumas to coyotes, wolves, and even eagles. Although these findings portray dark monuments in history, they are not the most sinister discoveries to have been made at Teotihuacan. Oh my god, I keep stumbling. In 2017, scientists using technology that could scan the earth beneath the pyramids at Teotihuacan uncovered a strange tunnel. This tunnel led directly below the Pyramid of the Moon. Interestingly, it extended downwards from a chamber inside the pyramid and is hypothesized to be related to the ancient funeral rites, potentially linked to human sacrifices. Some have speculated that the tunnel represents a descent into the underworld, while some have gone as far as believing that the tunnel is a kind of gateway or portal into this underworld. Very little is known of this tunnel, as it remains sealed and has only been digitally mapped out. No one truly knows where it leads, what its use was, or what lies within it. There is a hope that opening the tunnel could lead to further discoveries and clues as to who built Teotihuacan, thus unlocking mysteries of the past. However, many others fear that opening this tunnel could lead to something far darker. And yeah, obviously you can actually go visit these pyramids. They are a tourist attraction for people to go look at and go, just walk around that area in particular, because it is a historical site as well. These are pyramids that are known to be tied to the Aztecs and a lot of different history behind it. And you guys know that the Aztecs did do a lot of ritualistic sacrifices, and they worshipped a lot of different gods. And a lot of these sacrifices were both voluntary and involuntary, and there's just a lot of dark history with that, but a lot of fascinating history as well. Like, they had a lot of culture, they had a lot of different rituals that they did like on the daily basis, and a lot of beliefs that they had as well, and a lot of unknown things as well that we just want to further investigate and further get into. But what do you guys think? Do you think it would be a good idea to untap these tunnels, or should we leave them alone? Because of course it's all very like mythical, and it's whenever it's like scientists discovering these things, a lot of the times they're not going to care about like these potential threats like the underworld, or unleashing the spirits, unleashing a portal to the underworld. They all think it's just beliefs that the Aztecs had, and none of it is actually real. So I feel like at some point they might end up actually getting in there and trying to get into the tunnels themselves. But I think it's like one of those things where they kind of have to tread lightly in case it's dangerous to go down there overall, just because these are ancient ruins that we don't know what could be in there, and we don't know if it could collapse in on itself if they try to open it or anything like that. But it would be very interesting to know if the Aztecs actually thought that they had a tunnel to the underworld, and that they had access to it by building it under the pyramids, and like with all of these sacrifices that they made to the gods, maybe they believed that they had access to it because of that, and they just kept it sealed up. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what use they would have had from it, like unless they were trying to unleash whatever was in the underworld, and they were trying to use those beings for something. I don't know, there could be a lot of theories behind this, but I would love to know your thoughts on it and whether you think it would be interesting to go investigate in those tunnels, or if you think that it should be left alone, because as superstitious as it is, like, uno nunca sabe, you know, one never knows, and you don't want to go messing around with it just in case. Like, just with everything else that's like just superstition, like playing with the Ouija board or anything like that, as much as you might not believe it, it's like better to just not take the chance and do it, you know, because it's just like things that we don't actually know if it's 100% real or if it's 100% not real, you know. It's kind of up in the air. Anyone could believe whatever they want, but for me personally, I would leave it alone. I'd be like, I'm good. The pyramids are awesome. We have all of these other discoveries we've made. We do not need to go into those tunnels, because I'm the same way with the Ouija board. I'm like, it's there. People have said stories about their experiences with the Ouija board and having real things happen to them and so on and so forth. So that's why I don't want to risk it myself. Plus, I don't have any curiosity to talk to anybody who is dead, because what are they going to offer to me, you know? I don't know. I feel like I'd be scared more than anything, and I wouldn't be like, the only other reason I think that people use it is to verify whether there's, you know, an afterlife and whether there's actually ghosts out there. And honestly, I don't have to see it to believe it. If I feel like it's real, then I feel like it's real, and then I have my own superstitions, you know what I mean? But yeah, guys, that is going to be the last haunted location. And as I said, let me know in the comments which one you thought was the creepiest or the most interesting, and what was your favorite part of this video, and if you guys would like me to find some more haunted locations in other places, because I do Mexico a lot, because I feel like Mexico has a lot of interesting locations. But let me know what other places you would like me to cover that you guys think have a lot of paranormal activity or a lot of haunted places, because I know all over the world we have this superstition. But if you guys have a specific one that you would like me to cover, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, guys, before I do end today's video, today's comment shout out goes to this person right here. Thank you so much for leaving a nice comment. As always, I really do appreciate it, and it really makes my day. And if you want to be the next comment shout out, all you have to do is leave me a nice comment down below, and that's it. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully I will see you in my next one. Don't forget to stay safe and be kind. Bye bye.